Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.
That'll be joined in the studio now by our relationship expert. So that's Susan O'Donoghue. Good morning to you, Susan. Good to see you today. It is Movember, so it's a spotlight on men's health. Is this an important month, do you think?
I think it's great that men have made it an important month and that they all, it's awareness, isn't it? That's what it's about. It's about, I suppose, checking in to see how our gorgeous men are, right? Because I suppose I had some amazing men in my life, and I still do. And it's nice that they come to the spotlight once in a while and think, how are you getting on, lads? You know, because we're all quite aware that emotionally, I suppose, men, it's not as safe to express what's going on for you. Yeah. And that has huge impacts, you know, because the more you push down, the more is pressed down. You can only press down so much, and then what happens to you? You know what I mean? And there's loads and loads of books written about when you don't have a safe space to talk, or where you don't have some place to express what's going on for you, how that impacts your physical, your mental, your emotional, everything, right? It just impacts the whole lot. And we can't really separate it out as such. We can if we want to have a look at each section, but we are just one being. We're not just our physical or our emotional or our mental health. We're the whole lot combined.
Is it not changing for the better a little bit? Because I think men are a little more open about talking about feelings. And
I think they're, yeah. Do you?
I don't know. That's why I said I'd ask you. I mean, sometimes I think that, and then other times I wonder, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know.
Yeah, I wonder too, because I still think there's the stigma and the cultural and the social and the whole aspect around men should be a certain way and women should be a certain way, you know. And I think that maybe has diluted a small bit, but I don't know if we're even close to being there yet. Yeah, because statistically, now I'm just going to give a bit of this first, so we just have kind of reading it is harsh, right? I suppose mental and physical health among men in Ireland has become an increasingly critical concern. That's what the experts are saying, right? Despite growing public awareness and national initiatives, men continue to experience higher mortality rates, lower life expectancy, and greater mental health challenges than women. Right? That's even with what we think has changed a small bit. So this is just the research done.
It's very much still there.
It's still prevalent, isn't it? Yeah, and I suppose these issues are deeply connected to cultural, psychological, social factors, which we know anyway. Yeah, because our upbringing has our story, we're back to that again, it's our story, yeah. Such traditional masculinity, stigma and limited emotional expression. You know, because men are kind of told, you know, you can't really talk about your emotions because you're supposed to be the strong one. You're supposed to be the one who, you know, protects, and we know where that comes from. Sure, that's where we all started from. You know what I mean? Men were physically able to protect more, and women had the physicalness of being able to have children and feed them. So we know where it comes from. We're not naive in that sense. But I suppose this is what really scares me. And
the fact that we're branded, particularly in recent years, as misogynist and predators, and how we're portrayed even in advertising and the like we're stupid and we're thick and does that play in then to how we view ourselves?
Of course it does, doesn't it? Anything to do with, I'm not even going to say young people, because I'm on myself. We're all online. Yeah, we all have, years ago when I was growing up, what could you look at? A magazine, maybe Dallas. Do you know what I mean? That was the highlight of it, right? But now, there's so many comparisons, and comparison is like a killer to the soul. Right? I'm in competition with myself, not with anybody else, because once I do that now, I lose what's really important for me and what's really special for me, which is me, my uniqueness. Yeah, because we all have special talents, we all have special things we bring to the table. But if they're dumbed down, or if I'm told I can't use them, or if I'm told dilute them, they're upsetting for people, or that you're supposed to be this way, we lose that sense of ourselves then, which is horrendous for a person. I think that comparison thing is the most hurtful thing to do to somebody.
And that's right across the board.
It's right across the board. I mean, I just ask even, listeners, just even think about when you were small, the comparison. You know, it was so hurtful.
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
even to go to school and someone say to you, "Oh, your brother or your sister were here," and they were so smart.
They were so smart.
They don't even have to say you're not, but
know,
it's
yeah.
nearly implied, isn't it? So, like, I suppose for me, I really get concerned when I hear the actual numbers. Right? So they say that males under 40, right, in Ireland, 80% of them are the people who take their own lives.
That's incredible.
Like, isn't that shocking?
incredible, yeah.
Like, it's really, I don't know, like when you think it's 20% of women, then it's like 75 to 80%, and then they say that's the number one killer of men in Ireland that are under 40. Like, that to me it's breathtaking, right? And then for males under 55, it's the second killer of males. So it's huge, isn't it? It's very to me it's heart-wrenching. I would love to be able to provide that safety and that space where men can explore how it is for them, how it was for them in their story, how that's impacted them now, and what they need to do around it, you know, to find a bit of peace and resolution.
The author I was speaking to just before you came in, part of his book, and I didn't get to discuss this with him because there was so much in it, but we were ranked as the third wealthiest country in the world in 2024. Huge budget surplus indeed. And yet Irish people didn't feel rich. And in the happiness stakes, we were happier around the time of the bust, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Because 61% of Irish people are planning or wishing to emigrate, the highest figure of all EU nations. I mean, where's it all gone wrong, you know?
I think that we're so used to leaving Ireland. Yeah, I left it myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just par for the course. You knew that when you got to a certain age that was your option. I was hopeful for a while in the noughties, I suppose, that when we were coming on to 2000 and stuff, that people were leaving because they chose to leave. But it's kind of gone back. It seems like we're gone back again to we kind of have to leave.
It's necessary for us to leave.
Because we can't get a house. Like I have, my lads now, it's 18 to 25. So that's what they're facing into now. Is like, how do you buy a home in this country? How do you get a sense of security in this country? How do you feel like you have a sense of belonging here? You know, because no matter what college course you do, no matter what trade you take on, no matter what, you know, you still have to still have to have somewhere to live. And you don't want to live with your mother and father all your life, do you? I don't think that's, you know what I mean, healthy or, you know, good for you. So I think it's huge pressure, you know. I think when I left in the 80s, you probably could have swung a house somewhere. You'd have got it, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It wasn't that sense of, I can't even get a house, you know, a place to live, you know. And I think, you know, I heard you talking about so much today, Fran. Like, I was only in and out, but I was listening when I was in and out, and there was like the underneath in Clonmel there about the drugs.
The video of the intravenous drug taking. Yeah.
Like, my heart goes out to these poor people because they have a story too. Now, that doesn't excuse their behaviour if they are aggressive.
No, it doesn't. But in fact, I made that point this morning that, you know, it's terrible what's happening. But the sheer human thing of your man needing to have another guy help him shoot up on the main street in Clonmel. Like,
and it's so normalised.
And where is that coming from? And as you'd say, what is that story behind that?
And like, I was even listening, you know, about like lack of police, like lack of Gardaí and stuff like that. And I think we got one, didn't we, from Templemore? There was something like that. Like, it's just like, what do we need to do? We need a conscious government that's able to look at all this and think, you know what, it's problem solving, isn't it? It's not rocket science, is it?
We're wealthy, you know.
Are we?
Well,
we might be in money, but we're not.
Like corporation tax and all that money that's coming into us and the like, but it's not filtering.
Yeah, but the thing about it is too is when there's a lot of money around, right?
Yeah.
When people are struggling, when everybody's on the same par. Not everybody, but almost everybody is. Then the competition goes out of it a bit, doesn't it? So that comparison thing is gone.
Yes.
We're not worried about what next door has because we're struggling just to keep this door, you know what I mean, going.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's
isn't
very
it?
interesting because, you know, our grandparents was, back in our day, sure, we had nothing, but we were all happy.
Yeah,
because
and we went
all
down to
had
your man.
nothing.
Yeah, and for turkey, you had for Christmas for the turkey, which is a big thing now apparently because now we're all panicking we won't have a turkey.
Yeah.
Don't bother me, I'll get over it. But I mean, the lad down the road, I know my grandmother raised turkeys.
Yes.
And she raised them for everybody around her. and then they'd give her whatever, a lamb or a pig or whatever it was, or a bag of spuds or whatever it was. That was the way it was done. So there wasn't really that sense of, oh, your house is bigger than mine, or your car is better than mine, or, you know, I think that, I know that I went off to America in the 80s, came back in the 90s, and we had showers and we had heating, which shocked the life out of me because it was a bath before that.
Yes.
So like things changed rapidly in a couple of years in my head because I wasn't here. And I think that's what happened. We kind of are trying to catch up with ourselves in the sense of there is money here, right? But what are we using it for? Like how are people, are they being held with compassion and kindness? And we are an amazing country for that, aren't we? Like,
well, I think so.
when you saw COVID and you saw, you know, people calling into people, and you saw people like trying to, you know, tell people that they were there for them through videos and whatever. Like, we're the most compassionate country in the world when it comes to that. And we do it well. But we also have a sense of getting above yourself there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Take you down a few pegs now.
And we do that so bloody
do
well,
that
don't we?
brilliantly also. Yeah. And I know we're kind of have to go off topic, but it doesn't matter because this is where we're at. But I think that that's a sense of that too, you know, that we do, like I always think of Ireland in funerals, right? We're the best country in the world for them.
Yeah.
I've never seen a funeral like the funerals in Ireland. They're amazing. And people will come to you and they'll mind you and take care of you. But God forbid you do something that's not politically correct, or you do something that's, you know what I mean, that there can be frowned upon. Or you'll be cut down fairly lively then.
You're cast aside then in some sort of way.
So I think compassion and more acceptance of how we are.
And
you know?
to men out there that might be listening to us this morning, Susan, if they're struggling a bit and they haven't admitted that to anybody, because we all put on the face, the old mask,
do,
you know, what do you say to them?
I would say to them, if you can at all, whatever it is. I mean, I know that there's loads of stuff out there now, and there's the men's sheds, and, you know, there's all different. And I know that the government did an initiative, I don't know, where they have a certain amount of spaces now that are free counselling for men. Pick up the phone and talk to somebody. You can do it anonymously, even PA at a house, you know, whoever you feel might be somebody, the Samaritans. Pick up and talk. Find out. Go online, go on Google, find out the resources that are out there for you, because there's loads of them, right? I know that there's, I think now, was it 15,000 spaces or something the government opened up for free counselling? But look, whatever it is, just talk to somebody if you're feeling, you know, like you can't, or you know, like you're struggling. And I even think, you know, for some people it's even hard to make that first connection, to pick up the phone to call. But I think calling somebody first and being anonymous on the call helps, because you don't feel like anyone knows it was you. So God forbid something happened that you started crying or you showed a bit of emotion, you don't feel like, you know what I mean, they know you. And I think sometimes it's easier to talk to people you don't know.
Of course, yeah. And speaking of talking to people, if people want to talk to you, Susan, how can they do that?
086 3676 256 or info@emotionalwellbeing.ie. Fran, thanks so much.
Pleasure as always. Thanks very much indeed, Susan. We'll take a break. Back with more.
Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.